everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're going to talk about Canopy, and this is designed by Tim Eisner. The art is by Vincent Dutray and is published by Weird City Games.
This is kind of a tableau building game in which you are drafting these cards using a push your luck method. You're drafting these cards into your little chunk of the forest, and you are building up this rainforest. It's going to look awesome with all these different trees, different animals, different plants. Let me show you how it works. All right, here's our setup for Canopy. This is divided into 3 seasons. So we've got our current season kind of out here, all laid out. And then we've got our next ones laid out here, seasons 2 and 3, as well as we have our seed cards. All the seasons will be using the seed cards in order to kind of help our plant life grow even more. Every player is going to have a starting tree trunk. And then also laid out, we have some victory point tokens, some animal tokens that we're going to be using to score our trees. And then we have some awards that we're going to be giving out at the end of the game and at the end of each round. This is primarily a 2-player game. There are solo rules and 3- and 4-player rules, but we're going to be focusing on the 2-player ones. That's kind of the main game. So what we're going to be doing on our turn is we're going to be going to these growth areas. It's kind of a push your luck game. So what you're going to do is you are going to take this first card, you're going to look at it, see if you want it. This is the plant. This is a plant you have to kind of have 3 or more of in order for it to score. You can kind of see 1 gets you 0, 2 gets you 0. If you have 3 or more, it gets you 8. So this is a little early to be committing to that, so let's kind of wait for that. But when you don't take a pile, what you do is you add on to it. So now next turn, or the next player, is going to have a chance to see more cards to look at. You keep going down the line and doing the same thing. Look at the next pile. Hey, you know what? There's another one of those monsteras and a fern. So you know what? This I like a little better. We're going to keep these. Basically, it's kind of a better situation than the first pile. But we're going to replace it with whatever the growth value is. So it's new growth 2, so we put 2 cards there. Now the next player, same thing. They're going to go through this pile. If they like it, they're going to take it. If not, they're going to put it back, add a new card down. Go to the next pile, same thing. If they like it, take it. If not, add a new card to the top of it. And then finally down to the third pile. This one, same thing. Either take it if they like it, or if not, put it back, put a new pile on. And then if you've gone through all 3 of the new growth stacks, you don't like any of the cards, basically what you're going to do is you're just going to take the top card off of that current season, and then whatever it is, good or bad, you have to take it. Eventually, you might come across some tree trunks. You draft those. You can either add on to a tree like this, making it taller and taller, or you can set it aside and make it its own tree. Some tree trunks will give you extra points, some don't. Also, you're going to be able to add a canopy onto a tree, and it's also going to give you some points. This one says 0 times the number of tree trunks, but others might give you 1 or even 2 times points the number of tree trunks in that tree. Whoever has the tallest tree at the end of each round is going to be awarded some victory points. The first round it's 3, then 4, then eventually 5. At the end of the game, whoever has the largest rainforest is going to get this 10-point token. In addition to the plants, there's also some other things that can score, like we have weather patterns. This one here says if you have sun and rain combined, a situation like this, you're going to get 5 points at the end of the game, or the end of the round, rather. So you want to key onto those, try to get pairs of them if you can. You might come across some seed plants. These seeds basically allow you to go to that seed deck over there. In that deck, there's all kinds of different plant life, maybe even some weather patterns that you might come across. So those allow you to get sets of them. So, like for instance, if you're getting a fern going, and maybe you have 4 ferns, you're trying to get to that 5th fern, having some seeds might be able to give you the ability to go to that seed deck and hopefully find an additional fern so you can max out your points. You might also come across some negative cards. We have cards like this fire here. Basically, it says if you collect 2 of these fires and over the course of a round, you're going to lose 2 of the cards in your rainforest. If you collect 3 of the rain fires, it's actually bad for everybody. You lose 1 card, and everybody else also loses 1 card. Now, the disease kind of acts the same way, but in terms of wildlife. If you get 2 of them, you lose 2 wildlife. But if you get 3 of them, you lose wildlife, everybody else loses a wildlife. There's also droughts. Droughts are an immediate card. As soon as you get this, you have to lose one of the cards from your rainforest. But you can also use this to get rid of maybe one of the fires or diseases, so that way you don't necessarily lose any animals at the end of the round. There's a ton for wildlife in this game, and there's 2 of each card. There's usually a scoring card, like this one says, by itself it's worth 2 points. If it's with its mating pair, it's worth 5 points. However, there's also a second version of the sloth somewhere in the deck that is an active card that's going to have a special ability on it somehow. Maybe let you modify things, maybe get you other points for other circumstances, maybe mess with your opponents. There's a lot of special abilities that can come from these different wildlife. At the end of the round, you're going to get points for all of your plants, all of your weather. You're going to be able to get your seeds. You're also going to score any completed trees you have. You score them by adding one of these animals onto them. Kind of all the points you've earned both from the canopy and from the trunks. You can take those points. But the animals you are not going to score. Those are going to wait till the end of the game. Of course, all of your fires and diseases will also have to be resolved at the end of the round. And the round is triggered, obviously, when both that deck is gone and all those piles are gone as well. Then you simply bring out the next deck, set it up the same way as before. 1 card in the 1 pile, 2 in the 2, 3 in the 3, and you keep on going. At the end of the entire game, after the end of the third and final round, you're still going to do at the end of the seasonal scoring, but now we're going to do end of game scoring, where we finally do add in our animal scoring, all of our mating pairs and all that kind of stuff, any special abilities they might have given us, as well as hand out the bonus for the most amount of trees in the rainforest. At the end of all that, whoever has the most points wins the game. There is also kind of a mini expansion that's in the game called the Shifting Seasons variant. I suggest playing with this. It's a lot of fun. Basically, every round you put out a new card and something new happens. This one says, at the end of the season, the player with the most different wildlife species gains 3 points. So that can kind of give you a reason to go for a certain thing. This one says, only discard 1 threat card of each type at the end of the season. The remaining threat cards stay in your forest for the next season. So that gives you a reason to try to avoid some of those threat cards. There's all different special abilities and different scoring opportunities and rules that can change when you use that Shifting Seasons variant.
At the heart of it, though, I really feel like this is a push your luck game, right? So you're flipping over the cards, hoping to get something you need, and you take a card hoping to get only exactly that. Like, there's certain cards that you can only have 2 of those flower cards, right? If you get 3 of those flower cards, it's negative 3 points. And so here's the pile. There's a 3rd card in it, but it also has a mating pair for something for Ryan, so that would give him 5 points. You don't want him to have 5 points, so do you take that? Or maybe there's something better, but then you're also going to give that to Ryan. Ah!
Yes, give Ryan the points. Give Ryan the points. Say it with me. Give Ryan the points.
Don't give Ryan the points. Don't give Ryan the points. I like mine better.
Yeah.
I think it just flows better. But, like I said, it just feels like it feels like a push your like game, right? Like you're just trying, but you're not sure you want that, but maybe not. And that's the whole game right there.
This was very interesting. It's, a theme about an ecosystem, and something that we're all kind of a little bit more aware of than we used to be is being eco-friendly. What I thought was a really good thing about this game is this game was very intentional about not putting any plastic around their cards, not putting any shrink wrap around the box. Just had those little sticker tabs to keep it shut. There was no plastic baggies inside. Now, I will say that there was some user-friendly issues. There wasn't necessarily the most accessible bags and stuff like that, but if that's something that you're interested in and that you're aware of, that's a trade-off that I think people are going to be willing to make. It still works completely fine. It's just it has that eco-friendliness that is on our minds these days.
Yeah. The animals make this game.
Yeah.
I mean, because the game is really take a pile of cards, place a pile of cards. That's it. But the animals is what kind of breaks those rules, allows you to interact with the piles in different ways, allows you to interact with your canopy in a different way, allows you to act with other people in a different way. So the animals really is what brings this game to life, the abilities that they offer and what they can do and how they kind of manipulate the entire board. That's where like the fun of this game is.
You guys, the game looks so cool when it's laid out on the table. As even drafting these cards, you're kind of building up this rainforest, right? You have these, where the tree trunks kind of add on to each other. I thought was really clever. The way you have these super tall trees, you have some short trees, you have these canopies over the top of them. And on top of that, when you score them, in a lot of games, you probably just discard the tree, right? In this game, you leave it out there, so it looks cool. Plus, you add on a little animal that's climbing it up. You have a little parrot, or not a parrot, a macaw, or toucan, or whatever. A little monkey, or a little fire ant, or something. There's all kinds of animals that you add onto these trees to show that they've been scored. This adds to the look of it all. As this tableau grows more and more, you have all these different animals, you have these different plants, and the trees especially are, for me, it's called Canopy, so I think that's intentional.
Yeah.
But the trees themselves, I just love how it was laid out there in front of me, and that Vincent Dutrait art just gives it a chance to shine on the table.
Okay, everybody, gather around. Bethany has something really serious to talk about. Gather around. Are you gathered?
I'm as close as I can get.
There's a reason why we like to play games multiple times when we review them, because the first time we played this game, I did not like it. I was just waiting for it to be over. I was not enjoying it. I was just confused the whole time I was playing. I didn't want to do it. It just wasn't a fun experience for me the first time that I played.
I will say, though, it's probably due to 2 things. The first one is due to my not teaching all that great. And the reason that I didn't maybe teach it that great is because the rule book wasn't that great. It was fine, it was functional, but I feel like I had to sort through and flip pages back and forth a little more than I normally would have liked to, and I had to kind of dig to find certain things. Once I knew where everything was, it was fine to get better, and then that's why our subsequent plays were better.
Yeah.
But on top of that, one thing I want to point out is there is these kind of a mini expansion that adds some special event cards that come out every round, as well as advanced cards that you can add in once you're familiar with the game. I'd say if you are someone who is familiar with more complicated games, there's no hesitation. Just put everything in, everything with the kitchen sink in right away when you first play, and you'll be fine. You will have to reference some of the cards, especially the animal cards need more and more symbology, and the symbology is not that great, but the rulebook does explain it well.
Yeah,
once you find it.
yeah. There's no reason to not add all those animals if you just are familiar with all of these gaming concepts, because that's all it just changes the game, right? The gameplay, you're still doing the exact same actions, right? You're just adding more to it. So I definitely agree with that. Just add it all in.
All right, you guys, I think that this is a really fun tableau building game. It looks so good. It has kind of this eco-friendliness on your mind as you're thinking about it and as you're playing it, which I think is a really cool thing. It's got this push-your-luck element to it that's just really cool. Overall, this is a great tableau building game. I've said it like a couple times now. I'm not saying anything unique, but I enjoy it. I like it, and this is one that it doesn't take a huge footprint, which I enjoy.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. Once we got everything in it and once we were playing with everything, it was great. And I also want to caveat that Ryan is an excellent teacher. So that's not the reason why I was having trouble. He really is. I am like so spoiled with like being able to learn all these games through Ryan. He has a gift. He has a teaching gift. Do you know anybody in your gaming group that has a teaching gift? I want to know if you know somebody, if you have somebody, or if you're the somebody, leave us a comment below. Until then, make sure to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us on Facebook, we're Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. On Twitter, we're Ryan Bethany 1. And on Instagram, we are Ryan and Bethany.
All right, you guys, thanks for watching. We will see you next time. Bye.